Hello, hello, and hello. I was not paying attention.
No, that's right.
Over here doodling.
Welcome back to the Family Fortune. It's me, your girl Ashana, and sitting awfully close.
It's the return of the
Very
Mac.
close.
What's happening? Malcolm here.
And back by popular demand.
Popular
Because
demand.
we just did not get all our questions answered. Is none other than Mr. Cliff McGhee. Say hello.
Welcome. Hello, everyone. Glad to be here today.
You
You
said you
opened up
had
a
a
rabbit
little-
hole with me.
I know, right? You said you had something to throw out before we start?
Yeah. So I'm honored to be here again today. And so I did have the opportunity to talk to everyone last month. So I just wanted to put a couple of disclaimers out there. So I mentioned about advising the last time. So I'm not a licensed advisor. So any information I give you, it's just kind of to
Educational
help you.
purposes only.
Yeah. So, this whole podcast is about education.
It is.
So don't go out and, run and get something because I may mention it.
Yeah.
Do your due diligence.
What did our last guest say? He wrote it up on the chalkboard.
Do your homework.
Do your homework.
Amen,
Do your
amen.
homework. Your own
So-
homework.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm here to help.
Yes.
Okay. But
And we
Got it.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
We appreciate it. So I hear you had positive feedback as well. So we
Yes.
don't always hear, but it's always nice to hear that the guests we bring on are getting good feedback and people are reaching out. So you've had that?
certainly,
Awesome.
some members have come out, some friends have come out, and I've shared the video with others.
Okay.
So, just it helps me to know that I'm out there educating people.
Good.
So
Good.
it's wonderful.
So you got it? I know I got at least one follow-up question.
I will go ahead and do yours first because I got like several.
Okay.
So one of the questions that I would like, if you're able, and for educational purposes only, do your own homework, is can you kind of explain the difference between day trading and long-term investing or investing?
Okay. So basically, we talked about having some type of investment strategy that you're interested in. And day trading is one of them. But that's very advanced. So, I back it up to investing. Investing is, you may have some objective. We talked about, I want to put some money away, prayer and hope that it'll grow because I want to put a down payment for my home 20 years from now. Or I have a kid that may be graduating. So, you have some money that you can risk for the chance that it may grow.
Okay.
Whereas day traders typically are just that. People that are in the market on a day-to-day basis, buying or selling something at the beginning of the day. By the middle of the day, they're doing something. They're buying or selling again, or they're buying or selling that particular stock or item that they bought earlier in the day. So it's a continuous operation. Even when the market's closed, they're planning their strategies and what they're going to do the next day. So it's a very volatile type of action that you're doing, but it can be rewarding. And just, not to scare anyone off, probably in the late 1990s, day trading was big.
Yeah.
And the market started crashing, and people started committing suicide because they put more into the day trading accounts than they could afford to do. So, again, the old story is determine what your risk is, but more importantly, determine what your strategy is.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So no matter what. So just to sum it up, day trading is, in my head, this is how I look at it. You can tell me if I'm wrong, is, fast, quick, immediate
chance,
turnaround.
yes.
And so that you have to have a plan for that. If that's what you want, make sure you have a plan for that. And then what I just consider investing is for the long term, like the slow burn. It's not, you may not see a return immediately. It may be a while, but also have a plan for that. If you decide you want to do both, be a day trader and also do long-term investing, I don't know if you can have the same plan or the same goals.
They would be different plans, different goals.
Yeah, it
'Cause,
would have to
but the day trader is just that. You there today watching what you're doing. You're not, it's not passive. You know, it's a aggressive type of investing that you are sitting down in front of your computer screen, in all likelihood, 12 hours.
Wow.
Because different markets, you know, the United States market's open now, the European market is closing, but it still affects what you have going on in the American market.
I can't imagine there's a lot of money per transaction because you're not listening. You're looking at it how it started at 9 o'clock versus how it is at, I guess, noon. You got 3 hours or whatever passing. You're not looking at this big return. So it's more of like you're buying and selling a bunch of stuff at the same time to actually make money that is eventually going to be taxed anyway. So it's something else to consider. But I can't imagine there's a lot of money day trading, you know, on a single day.
Well, it takes skill.
Yeah.
I mean, and yeah, it could be a lot of money. You know, you're probably putting a lot of money in there to do that. It's not for the faint of heart, you know. So you got $100 and you want to day trade, you know, that may not be
Worth it.
the turnover that you're looking for.
Yeah, you got it. It seems like you got to have those big bucks in order to get into day trading, or at least start off with a substantial pot of money, and then, like I said, probably be willing to lose it. You got to be willing to lose it because there's no guarantee that
It's going to take you a while to learn about doing it. You know, that education piece. You know, me, any type of education, any type of investing I want to do, I want to get a little bit of education beforehand.
exactly, and that's the key. Sorry, that's the key concern with today's people. With people today, the youth today is not so much that they don't want the education; they don't want to take the time that it takes to get the education. They want that quick, fast knowledge. Which is great in some circumstances, but in my opinion, and from what I've experienced, when it comes to investing, period, whether it's in the stock market or anything else, that's not a quick learn. It should not be a quick learn. There is going to be trial and error, but if you expect to go in at 9 o'clock and be able to catch it completely before 10, then you're one of those rare intelligent people who just catch stuff quickly, which is very rare.
Yeah, so sometimes, you know, a lot of times we can't see past today, and, you know, we want instant gratification, you know, the microwave economy, they call it, whatever. And so as I was preparing for this, you know, this is May, and it was about 50 years ago that I first had my introduction to investing. And, you know, that fueled me. And, you know, it's 50 years later, and I have the same passion as I did then. So, you know, you're going to be learning over a long period of time. You know, my advice is always to look out into the future. You know, although it's not promised, but at least you're putting things in place.
That makes sense.
All right, so in doing our homework, you know, I think I mentioned this to you before we actually got on air about taking $500, right? I want to risk this $500 because last episode we talked about risk, how much you're willing to risk. I got $500. I don't care what I'm gonna do with it. I want to put it into the stock market. What was some of the things I need to look forward to? What homework do I need to do to figure out what am I gonna do with this $500? Am I gonna put it in one bucket or multiple buckets, and whose bucket is gonna get it? Go.
For educational purposes
Educational
only.
Yeah, education. I'm not going to tell you a particular stock.
No, absolutely
But
not.
I would say I like, right now, I've always liked energy.
Okay.
Alternative energy. You know, because I think there's a mandate by the government to, you know, have 30% of the vehicles electrified. So anything you can do with getting those components, lithium is one I could think off the top of my head. You know, anybody that's producing electrical parts for these vehicles, I like that sector.
Well, just to piggyback off of that, so when you're talking about alternative energy, that is forward thinking. So I guess if we're investing, we're looking at what is going to be worth a lot more in the future.
Yeah.
So electric vehicles, I'm not saying.
See, he's a young man. He want to know. He want that 500 to be 1,000 tomorrow.
I can wait a couple days.
Couple days.
But you're investing for the future. So if I'm investing, I forget the company name. I recently did their groundbreaking. I recorded their groundbreaking a few weeks ago. It's a German company that are making batteries for electrical vehicles here in Augusta. I think it's in Augusta. I'm not sure. It's somewhere off of Mike Paget. That will be a company that if I was interested in investing into energy, I would invest in that company. But I think the issue I ran into, I don't think they're on the market.
Okay.
And this may be something else that, as a question I would have, like, how do I invest into a company that's on the market, or is it even possible? Maybe
That's
they're owned.
not on the market.
Yeah, maybe they're owned by another company. I think that's homework.
Well, there's private and there's public.
Okay.
That's where I was trying to get.
Okay, okay.
A lot
private
of
and
companies are private and with the hope of or the plan to go public, and then just some are just remain private. So the private people, they're shareholders, the people that got the connections,
Initial investors,
yeah, initial investors, people like that are just going to control that company.
So, all right, let's go back to the $500.
So you want to look for public companies for $500.
No penny stocks.
I don't
So
even know what that
again-
means. Ain't no stock worth a penny.
No, not really.
I know it's an old term.
I always suggest look long term.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like
I'm finna raise my hand.
Clifford
like I'm in
don't like
class.
the short get fast
Yeah.
method.
I'm a cat in because
Yeah, you go
I
ahead.
see you over there struggling. I'm gonna help you out a little bit. First, still for educational purposes only.
Okay.
When I start getting in the investment game, I was like you. I'm like, so where do I put my money? And I think we talked about this at the last session. Was the person who was helping me or tutoring me or educating me says in the beginning, invest in what you use the most. And so I was like, okay, because he's like, I can't tell you, just like you, I can't tell you what to invest in. So he says, just to start off, look into the things that you use the most or where you spend the most money. So it would be like you're investing in yourself. I took that advice, and when I was doing my homework, the things that I used the most money for, I went a little bit deeper and said, well, how long have they been around?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, if they've been around for X number of years and they ain't going nowhere, then that's a company that I would not mind investing in, understanding there's going to be highs and lows.
Right.
Those companies that where I spend my money the most, this was my thing. Money where I spend my money the most, and then a caveat to that is how long have they been around and what has their company record or company finances look like. But mainly it's the ones that if you've been, for me it was more than 25 years. If you've been in business, highs and lows for more than 25 years, then I was like, okay, that would be a good fit for a long-term investment.
I think we kind of talked about Netflix and Blockbuster, how one took out the other because the other one didn't. Blockbuster been around for a long time.
Because then you got to think about they have these monopolies, and
Yeah.
they're gonna always be monopolies. There's huge monopolies now, if I can name them, but we're not gonna throw no names out there. And they run out the smaller businesses, but some of those monopolies they won't get run out. They compete, friendly with they have friendly competitions with other companies.
Yeah, you want to think about those companies. At the end of the day, we're putting our money in there, and so we hope we're getting value for our money. So you definitely want to be in a company that you believe in, that you, if you use it, the product, that's a great way to start. Putting your money where the company has shown that it's historically grown.
That's good. Yeah.
And, so many new companies, today, startups that have no history. So then you got to go that extra mile by looking at like who's running the company, you know,
That's
what their product is.
that seems risky. Like I
Well,
understand.
it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, risky in a sense of like I have no idea what this XYZ company is. I don't know exactly what they do. Even if the CEO or whoever the people behind it are, like, like how do I begin to do homework on a company that basically doesn't even barely exist? That's just
It's
coming
just
around.
deep search.
Deep search.
And
Companies.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
websites, financial
Yeah.
websites. Like I know Yahoo Finance Plus or Yahoo Plus Finance is really good. There's Zax something or other, and it's a whole bunch.
Morningstar. It's a lot of
Thank
different
you,
tools out there.
Morningstar,
Okay.
and they do a lot of the research. They do a lot of the legwork into the research.
If a company is public, they're going to be listed on one of the stock exchanges, American Stock Exchange, Dow Jones Industrial, S&P 500, the NASDAQ. Depends on the size of the company. And if they're trading on one of those, then they're required by law to disclose information on a quarterly basis
Okay.
if they're publicly traded.
Okay.
So $500 is worth getting into a publicly traded company. Getting into a private equity event is usually costs you the minimum $250,000. You got to be an accredited investor. You have to sign these documents to say if this $250,000 is gone, I'm okay with that.
I am not okay with that.
I
So you're not
cannot-
an accredited investor.
I can't remember the movies, but there's a bunch of them out there. It's the Ben Affleck movie but they were actually evil investors. They was on the phone. You had this room set up, boiler room. That's the name of it. They had the room set up where they doing all these cold calls. To me, is that where? And that image popped into my head when you were talking about the private equity and getting in and having X amount of money to be able to invest, because that kind of seemed like what they were doing. So that's the image that popped in my head, that even though they're private, they're reaching out to the public or select people to say, hey, would you be willing to become a part of this company, startup, whatever.
I think it could have been a little bit of both, but generally private, you won't see that kind of event in boiler room for private companies. I've seen that, yeah. It's a very good example of what not to do.
What not to do.
Pressure cooking on you, but yeah. So cold calling to get people invested in particular companies is.
I've seen some websites pop up too. It's kind of similar to GoFundMe, but it's for startups where you can fund startups. Cannot recall any of them off the top of my head.
Kickstarter.
But there we go. Those things.
Yeah.
That's one of. And so would that be if you say put money in through Kickstarter, would you be then considered an investor or a potential shareholder then, or is it just?
I'm not
hey, take my
familiar with
money?
Quickstarter, so I'm not sure about that. If it's a website or app that allows you to put money into like a E-Trade or Charles Schwab, so you can trade money, that's probably going to be
No, there's
okay.
Kickstarter is is crowdfunding.
crowdfunding.
It's basically donating your money to a project or some sort of idea to get developed. It's not like you get a real return on it. You like, hey, here's $100. I believe in your movie that you're wanting to make.
Oh, your product. Okay.
And sometimes you do get something back, like, hey, we'll give you a T-shirt if you
Or a
give
free
us.
ticket or something.
Yeah, they
okay.
give you stuff like that.
Okay, so nowhere near the same thing.
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
Yeah. So the whole summary of this little session here we've had for the last couple minutes is, just always think about what your purpose is going to be for the money that you're willing to put at risk. And then once you determine that, you think about your timeline. So we talked about this a little bit. So a great way to do that is kind of have a short, medium, long-term set of goals. So if you had small amount of money, like today, of $500, and you're willing to, and you kind of already had your middle and your long terms kind of set up already, mess around with that $500 for the short term. Pick a company, I could say you can put your $500 in there today and see what it does over the next couple weeks. Watch it, but set that parameter in there that says once it hits, 5% up or 5 or 10% up, I've gained 10% on that $50. I'm gonna sell it. And if it goes down 10% or $50, I'm gonna sell it. Kind of set that parameter up so you don't be going through this every day watching it and things like that. But I'm remiss to say that I don't like just having short term.
Yeah.
Investing is about the long haul.
I agree.
You asked me about charts. We got charts from the 1920s. History is no indication of what the future looks like. But, they're kind of revising that and said, yeah, history is kind of indicator of what the future is going to look like. So you can't go wrong by having the long-term focus. And if you want it for you now, set those medium goals.
That makes sense.
The long terms can be rolled over into generational wealth,
Right.
legacy type things. And then back to the short term, just have that pot where you're willing to
Disposable
learn
funds.
while you are investing.
Yeah, disposable funds.
You're doing both of them at the same time, learning and investing, learning and investing.
That's good. That's a
That's
good
for the
idea.
short term.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that way you'll have money where you won something, you learned something, you lost something, you learned something.
That's good. I like that.
Are you into? I guess it's a curiosity questioning. What is the Bitcoin, that sort of type of?
I refuse.
I guess the old age it's telling on me. I don't get into new things too much
Okay.
these days. But
Yeah,
I'm
I'm like you.
I've been approached by a couple people about Bitcoin, and they were kind of upset with me because I said no. And it wasn't about them. It was just about I didn't want to put the energy into learning about it.
Yeah.
Because, anything that's going to deal with my money, I'm going to put some energy into learning about it. I'm just not going to put it out there
True.
and not, them dollars are hardly earned.
Yeah.
So,
And these days they don't go as far. So
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more prudent with how I spend my money. Same thing like with Bitcoins. I don't have an aversion to them,
Yeah.
but I'm like you in that aspect. It's like to me it is day trading on a different level, but in a different way, where it's like trying to get a quick buck, and that's what drew, in my opinion, that's what drew everyone to it. It was fast money. But then I'm like, it's no money. You ain't got no money. Where's the money? Money is something, that's me. Money is something you feel in your hand. It's tangible or something like that. And this is just,
Yeah,
I didn't get it.
Bitcoin is going to probably be a future.
it's going to be
Yeah.
around, I know.
Dollars, paper dollars is going to go away, I think,
Yeah.
eventually. And we're going to be trading via these electronic systems.
Yeah.
And, it's already with our debit cards,
Yep.
for example. A lot of places you go, kind of frown on taking cash from you. They want you to use the machine system so it can be electronically. They get their money instantly. They don't have to deal with dirty dollars and
My
with
goodness.
disease and drugs on them. Dollars wrinkled up. So we're going to the system. So depending on how long you want to look out, it may be something worth it for you.
Yeah.
I just don't have that. Cliff don't have perspective on that kind of stuff for the long term.
Right.
For me.
Okay.
So there's a lot of opportunities out there for you. I would say, go to some type of seminar and listen to what they have to say, and maybe might poke your interest.
Yeah. I think with my little experience with the stock market, I've had some returns on stuff that I may have invested in. I think learning, just getting into it just in general, make the mistake. Don't make a big mistake. Be careful on what you're risking and putting into the market. I think need to learn more about charts because you showed me earlier what I call the candlestick because I've heard that term somewhere about candlestick charts, and then you got the what's the little one that I see all the time on the news.
That's like a moving.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
determine how the stock went up and down.
Right,
you know,
right.
For the
It's-
whole industry or whatever the case is.
There's no real prediction machine, but history does tend to repeat itself. And if you kind of pay attention to the trends that are happening in the world, you kind of know what to expect.
Right.
Because, whenever war is around, the prices, especially in the Middle East, prices tend to go up or something like that. Or like now you mentioned about electric vehicles, like that's just becoming more and more the thing that people are getting into, well, kind of being forced into in some cases, getting, gas vehicles off the road, putting more electrical vehicles on the road because we're into this age of trying to prevent global warming. I don't know what the actual term would be. So it's looking into, this is what I'm gaining from the information that I'm gathering. I hope you all at home are gathering
Yes,
the same sort of information, but do your homework. I'm
Do
looking
your
at it
homework.
before you go out there and put your $500 into something.
Yeah, not only homework too. Get around like-minded people.
Investment
I think,
clubs.
Yes. Yeah, clubs. Blogs, whatever it may take to just kind of somebody that can speak in the language and you garner something from there.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's helpful to be around, the like-minded people that help you with your projecting what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that you had got some success in what you were doing.
Yeah.
And so I would say make sure you capture that. To think about the kind of company you got.
Oh, yeah.
And what made it successful to you, your money?
Mhm.
What happened to cause it to grow? Was it the product they had? Was it the activity they do? Capture that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I used to do, it was kind of simple to me. I would get my statements in the mail, and and every month I look at this is kind of when I started. I looked at my money, say that's grew, but I had no idea why it grew.
Mm-hmm.
I know it grew, and so I wait till the next month, and it was some more money, and then the next month it might have been a little less, but it was still more than what I put in the beginning. So after being lazy for a couple years, I went on this path to try to figure out, okay, how come I'm making money now?
Right.
I want to know how come I'm making money. It's not just about making the money. I got to the point where I needed to know how I can maximize this with other stocks,
Right.
with other things I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, I've been in sales, and I know that a lot of people don't open their statements. So I know that. I know that for a fact. And so, but there's a lot of education in there. My grandson is 8 years old, and I've been investing for him since he was born. And so his mama asked me, like, I guess he was about 6 or 8 months old. He said, how come he's getting statements to the house with his name on it? I said, I want him to read those statements.
Oh, my goodness.
So he'll, try to understand why, he got $1 today and tomorrow it's $1.50, and he hadn't done anything. So
That's smart.
Statements
That
are,
is smart.
That is
statements
smart.
are powerful.
Quite clever.
Yeah, it's a teaching method, but it's also a learning method for us that do get statements. Because all statements aren't bad news. There's some statements got some good news in it. It's not everybody's the bill collector looking for you.
It feels that way sometimes, but yeah.
Okay. I mean, we can sit here and chit chat all day,
Okay.
but unfortunately, we
Okay.
don't. So, we're already going to probably have you back
Yeah.
during next season.
Okay.
So, we thank you
Okay.
again, and just some for our audience. We will be not shutting down, but taking a hiatus.
On sabbatical.
Sabbatical.
There you go. I couldn't think of that word. Sabbatical for a couple of months, but we will be back bigger and better.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we go home today, I'm just, now I'm fired up.
Oh, my
Okay,
God. I'm so sorry.
Let me recap us a little bit.
Yeah, everything.
because,
Okay,
I'll take
it.
as you go into the summer,
Uh-huh.
okay, so you figure out you want to be an investor. You want to be able to see your money grow. So you know that there's a possibility out there for that because we talked about that. And I found a stock I like, Malcolm. And Malcolm says, I have $500. I've got next 2 months to learn how to put it to use. So I don't really know what I want to happen.
Throwing you some hints.
Yeah.
You pick 'em up.
I really want to see it grow. But Cliff is saying, okay, that's the short-term thing.
Mm-hmm.
I also have some mid-term objectives and some long-term objectives. I think those are essential because you'll be waddling and waddling during the short-term time. So get your strategy, get your objectives, and then think about, what types of companies I like, diversification. Start learning about if automotive industry is down, what's out there to protect it, maybe like agriculture. I'm just throwing some examples out there. So you get into the financial market or banking or something. So just diversify your portfolio. You get some banks in there, some automotive industry type things, maybe some technology.
Medical.
Yeah, some medical. So diversify. So when one is up, the other ones may be down. When one is down, the other ones may be up.
That's what you mean. Okay. I was thinking like, okay, what's some automotive companies that's on the market?
Ford,
yeah,
General
okay.
Motors, Toyota, Mercedes, Benz.
I invest in Ford. Don't invest in Mercedes.
Not generally no.
Okay.
You want to be
Got
able to-
you. Stick
don't-
to one gun.
Yeah, I mean, it don't hurt
Yeah.
to have both of them, but have something that may be able to offset that when the automotive industry is down.
Yeah.
I can't give you a good example. I would say maybe technology might be
Yeah.
up and automotive is down, and then they may flip. Automotive may be up and technology's down. So you want to be able to
Pretty much saying,
That's
don't
what-
put all your money in one
type of industry.
one type of industry in
Yeah.
one basket.
Yeah.
Give me the industries. Oh, go ahead.
No,
No?
he already said this.
Oh, industries are.
No, I think those are categories, right?
Wait, it was
Well,
banking.
You got financial industry.
Yeah.
You got
Financial.
automotive. Real estate.
Technology.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
It's-
all I
it's
was
more- it's a little
asking.
more than that.
I wasn't
I've
asking
had
for
that.
nothing specific.
Like,
I can
know.
talk to you afterwards. No
There we
problem.
go. There we go.
So
There we-
and that's kind of a recap, but certainly pay your bills.
first,
Get a little savings count.
second,
Get you a little mercy fund, and
third,
then start thinking about the long term.
after all the top three.
And then once you got long term in place, start dabbling,
Yes, that's
Yeah.
good advice. That's good advice, though.
and it'll go a long ways for you.
Oh my goodness! So we're gonna figure out how we're gonna bring you back for
Hit my music.
And
season whatever.
one last thing. So you all asked me a question. We didn't ask it. It's
What?
The bear and the bull market.
Oh,
Ooh, that's wonderful.
Give me
think about it.
real quick.
So the bears.
Yep.
It's just that. They're hibernating. Things are kind of slowing down.
Oh.
Stocks are slowing down. The bulls, head first, running.
I know,
Stocks
but
are
we're
growing.
like, wow,
That's what that means.
That's it.
wow.
That's wild.
Okay.
I'm gonna do some more research in that. But we still want to know what other topics you would like us to have. So during our hiatus, hit me up, lbradwell@tbcaugusta.org with anything, any other topics you would like us to cover, any other persons you would like us to have on. This is your show. Let us know. But until we come back for season 4, 5, 4, whatever season it is,
We'll be here.
we'll be here.
here.
And I'm LaShawna,
Little Mac.
And I'm Cliff.
and this is the Family Fortune.
And enjoy your summer.
Enjoy your summer. Bye.
Bye.